What is the most memorable NSFW thing that happened in high school? Senior year. Biology IB2. The teacher is kinda chaotic and isn't very structured. Late a lot. It's his first class of the day. Sorta lets us do our work at our pace. So he was late one morning and we were all just sitting and chatting waiting for him. We got on the topic of piercings and one girl said she recently got one of her nipples pierced. We were confused why she only did one and then she showed us. In class. At her desk she just lifted her shirt and bra to show us her single pierced nipple. It took me a second to realize what just happened. Then me and my buddy high-fived or something IDK. The only proper response to a girl saying I have a pierced nipple is I don't believe you. Not so much in a good way. My senior English teacher decided it'd be a good idea to have us all talk about significant events in our life, or something like that. Not sure of the exact phrasing. Lots and lots of rape. A few suicide attempts. And a kid finding his dead parents. Basically just 2 days of extremely graphic and emotional descriptions of the worst things that ever happened to a class of 20 teenagers. On the bright side, the teacher convinced one of the RP victims to identify the person who did it. And he's still in jail. The teacher clarified after the first two that he didn't expect it to be so negative. But we just kinda kept going with that trend. A few people didn't present. A girl committed suicide by hanging herself in our gym from the bleachers. Not sure what time she did that. But it was the biggest news that circulated the school. My senior year, a girl accused a male teacher of trying to coerce her into giving him nude pictures. According to her story, he had held her behind class and told her if she didn't he was going to fail her and that she wouldn't graduate on time. The teacher was fired instantly, but it was never taken to criminal or civil court. The vast majority of my graduating class did not believe the girl because she was known for spreading false rumors. Her story gradually changed the more people asked her about it, and the teacher was actually well liked by the majority of the students. Girl literally got FK'd through a locker room wall when she tried to take on the whole hockey team at once. And I'm not talking glory hole style. It was more like Kool-Aid Man. Back in the late 1970s, we had an inter-school streaking league. 5 different high schools in the area fielded teams of streakers. And awarded points for number of participants, number of minutes for the streak, and style points for location, silliness, playfulness, and general audacity. Subtracting points for number of arrests. The scores were published weekly in the school newspapers. My high school won handily. For one streak. About 15 of us started at the school. A block to the local Lions restaurant and streaked inside between the front and back entrances. Waited at the corner of the main street through town for the light to change. Crossed the street and streaked through the Wendy's. And then retraced our steps. Another had us streaking the local police department. One of our team members was the night desk sergeant's daughter. So we had inside help. The league went on for about 6 weeks until the school district put pressure on the principals to shut it down. But for at least a couple years after, our school's trophy case held in an marked running trophy with a strategically placed fig leaf on the runner. Just a whole lot of 14-year-old blowies. None for me, obviously. A girl, 13-15, sent a Snapchat out to several people of her naked with only images covering her. We were on a class trip and they locked us all in our rooms until the staff and police sorted it out. Edit. So to add a bit more to the story and clear a few things up. The cops determined it wasn't CP, so she did not get arrested for producing and distribute CP. I can't remember what happened after that to her, however I believe the teachers either called her parents up and they got her, or they gave her a good talking to. Got all the documentation in order and let her enjoy the rest of the trip. I do think it was a good call on them in case there was a way someone got the images off the pic and it got out. They would at least have documentation on the matter for the police. Edit 2. I was 18 at the time, so this could have ended bad for me. Edit 3. Great, my highest upvoted comment is on this T. Female volleyball coach of men's volleyball. She let us have an end of season party at her place. One of the guys on the team spent the night there and banged her. Guarantee that was her plan to get you guys there all along. A girl was doing a cartwheel while in a skirt and her PSSY was in full view. A small group of students at my high school was convinced aliens were observing us because a certain cornfield near the football field would have crop circles every year. It was flattened out patches from where kids would sneak off to have sex during football games. As a kid raised on a farm, why would you go FCK into the cornfield? Corn leaves are quite sharp and can cut you easily. Not to mention spiders and other bugs that live there. 2 of our married gym teachers got caught having sex in the weight room after school. 1 male and 1 female teacher. 2002. Teacher was unzipped and giving a lecture. Valedictorian had to tell him that his balls were showing. Senior prank gone wrong. Every once in a while the school Olympic-sized pool needed to be chlorine-killed for cleanliness and it was unusable for a few hours until the chlorine adequately dispersed. This is important. Senior prank time rolls around and a bunch of the seniors decide to buy pickup truckloads of dry ice to dump in the pool to mist up the school. Well, these geniuses accidentally timed it with chlorination schedule of the pool and blanketed the whole school with chlorine gas. It was shut down for a week. 8th grade girl sucked 11th grader's dick in the boys' bathroom. Both got suspended. Then about 2 months later they both got caught having sex in the back stairwell. Both are now expelled. A girl got so drunk at homecoming that she pooped her pants and had to be sent home. At homecoming Oz had to be sent home. So drunk she didn't know if she was coming or going. A kid was found dead by his mom. He'd skipped school and hung himself in his closet. By all accounts he was a healthy, happy teenager with lots of friends and no one could say that they saw this coming. There was a memorial assembly at school and speeches about suicide awareness and all that. I only knew him by name. But I think for everyone it was a reality check since we were all so blindsided by it. A few days later, Mum confesses. She didn't come home and find that he'd committed suicide. Well, sorta. What had actually happened was he discovered autoerotic asphyxiation and died accidentally. As is frequently the case. When Mom discovered his body that morning, she dressed him and cleaned up the scene so as to hide how he died. After a few days, she realized that this lie was too much and she revealed the truth. As a result, we all had to take a mini class on the dangers of autoerotic asphyxiation. Which was a very bizarre thing for a 14-year-old to learn about. Alluring South African physics teacher was caught getting oral sex from Australian biology teacher. Both female. SAR teacher was pregnant at the time. Another school in our district had an orgy and filmed it in the school bathroom. It puts quotations around that because it was like 7 guys to 2 girls. Worst part was that they were barefoot in the men's bathroom. Almost threw up seeing that. I believe a gender imbalance of that magnitude makes it a gangbang. Computer teacher opened White House. Com on the projector during a follow-along class. This was in the late 90s when that site was PRN based. I mean the regular White House was pretty PRN based in the 90s too. Senior trip we went to a camp for a few days. It was mostly normal. Except for the orgy cabin. There was a set time for it to happen. And guys apparently passed around names on slips of which girls they were claiming. Best part is it got discovered by the principal himself. Not sure what happened to the students involved but there were memes for the rest of the year with the principal's face pasted on top of Thanos. English teacher got pregnant by my high school quarterback who was also the police chief's son for my town. This is a different kind of NSFW. Probably. But once a freshman shat all over a bathroom stall and wrote some other kid's name on the wall to try and frame him, I guess. Well, that kid wasn't even present that day, so the culprit was caught pretty quickly and had to transfer out. The dean had sat all the boys in the school, freshmen and sophomores together and then juniors and seniors together, in our conference room and showed them the stall to try and scare a confession out of them. I guess it worked. I only know this because my husband, BF at the time, was in the conference room and almost got in trouble for this mess because he thought it was hilarious and couldn't stop laughing at the dean's poop presentation. He still, to this day, doesn't know what the poor man expected. To just show a bunch of teenage boys a poopy slider shell? During psychology class, this girl had her phone between her skirt and I guess every time she got a text or something, it would vibrate and she would kinda squirm. It was interesting to watch since I was across from her. How many times did you text her? Science teacher accidentally brushed a chick's boob a tad when trying to touch her shoulder. She did pretty well in that class without needing to do all the work.